Greetings all. This is a special request video for one of the members of Simon's Hermit's Cave Facebook group, Rose Bae. If you're listening, I will give you a nudge when this goes up. But it all began with a post in the group asking, one of those, what's the most you've ever spent on a deck questions. And oh boy, the most I've ever spent on a deck, I'm not going to say how much it was, but it was a lot. It was a lot for me. I know people pay a lot more for decks, but this one, I had to have it. I probably spotted it about 6-7 years ago. And I realized I haven't introduced these decks, but I mean, really, there you go. This is Tarot of the Origins by Sergio Topi. The Little White, it came out, I think, in 1998 in Italian. It was then issued in English. The Little White Book says 2000. Some sources say 2002, right? Okay, so it hasn't been around all that long. But anyway, this one came out. This one is the sort of updated, super-duper version that Lo Scarabeo has issued this year. And I'm going to go through, not an entire walkthrough. There is a walkthrough I will link to for this deck. And if I find one for this one, I'll add it to the description. But I just want to give you sort of a bit of a comparison of the boxes, the cards themselves, how the cards differ from how they were before. Anyway, so yeah, sorry, introduction's out of the way. Sorry, where's my manners? Anyway, I responded that the most I paid for a deck was this one because it was my holy grail. I'd seen it. I had to have it. But in that time from like 2000, 2002, it had gone out of print. And they were going for mad money, really, really mad money. And I thought, well, that's just not happening. If I get lucky one day and I spot one for a reasonable price, I'll get it. But otherwise, move on. Anyway, one day I did spot one on eBay for a reasonable price. It was an auction, and I thought, well, how much am I willing to go? And I thought, oh, I'll wait till the last minute, because I always wait till the last minute. But I'll put in my best bid and hope for the best. And I won it. And, nearer the top end of my bid than I would have liked, but yeah, it was okay. It was still okay. And that was great. And I went to I paid for it. And when I saw the PayPal receipt, I realized that I actually knew the owner of this deck. He lived in England, from other Facebook tarot groups. I recognized the name on the bill, which is delightful. So I messaged him and said, guess what? I'm so-and-so, you are so-and-so. We sort of know each other. We commented and what have you. I said, and I was absolutely thrilled to get his deck. So that just made this deck even more special for me. So there I was. I'd gotten my holy grail. Very, very happy. So of course, 18 months later, I see this notice that Lo Scarabeo is reissuing Tarot of the Origins as Primordial Tarot. I'm like, of course they are. Of course they are. I think it was like $22.50. Your bog standard Lo Scarabeo Tarot deck price. I'm like, But when I saw the images, I thought, oh, that is sufficiently different and lovely that I pre-ordered it. I thought I have to have that one as well. And for $22.50, I can do that. So let's begin. Sorry, there was a pause there because I suddenly thought, did I mention Rose Bae's name? And I have, yeah. So, geez, there you go. I'm not very good at this, guys. I don't do this for a living like some people. So anyway, this is the box. I'm going to just move this out of the way so we have a bit more room to be over here. So I have to keep things kind of flat so you can see them properly. This is the original box. It's just an ordinary tuck box, Lo Scarabeo, nothing fancy. 22 majors, 56 minors, divinatory instructions, minimalist divinatory instructions, which is actually a good thing. And I'll come back to that as well. The essential nature of the primitive world is a bridge to the spirit of every human being, right? Other side, here's your bottom with your barcode if anybody's interested. Let me just see if it'll focus. Come on. There you go. Right. Anyway, that's that. By comparison, you can see this box is much thicker to begin with. That's because it accommodates a book, an actual book with it. So we'll put you aside. Let's get you out of the way. Right, Primordial Tarot. Just have a look at the top there. One side. So the other side is the same. This different image. Bottom with the barcode again. Scooch you up. Oh, that's a bit better. Right, and you can see the different languages that the booklet comes in. There's no, I'm checking quickly. No, there are no titles on the cards. So you don't have the usual 6-language bar that you find on many Lo Scarabeo decks. This is just the languages in the book. And it is a lovely, big, sturdy, boxy box with a slide-on lid. So very solid, very hard. I love it. The deck will be staying in this box. If I get a box like this with a deck of cards, they stay in that box. Unless for some reason I have or I find the perfect bag for a deck. But I prefer to keep them in these boxes. Oh, and another nice feature of this deck, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to capture it. Oh yeah, you can just see, notice the sort of the glazing over some of the ink on the box. So it's the print, or the text is like that, the hands, some of the features are highlighted. Even the top of the box has that shiny, which you can't catch now. Trust me, it's there. That's shiny as well. It's slightly raised. You can sort of feel it. Very nice. So that's your boxes. What you get in the box, apart from the cards, obviously. In the old one, you had your usual, bring it down, couple of, extra cards. So that's the backs of the originals and a little blurby blurb, and then just some business about the cards themselves. And actually, it's actually the same on both sides. In the new one, that's the backs of the cards. Now I'm going to just come back to that because I may not think to actually show you the comparison. Those are the original backs. Honestly, I was never enamored of them. Brown is not my color. I like this one much better. This is a bit of, and I'm just flipping through the cards. I looked the other day, and I can't find it now. It's further down. Okay. Oh, yes. So of course it is. And I told myself at the time that is actually part of the Wheel of Fortune image that's just been duplicated and included there. I like the colors in that much better. It's not really showing up terribly well. I don't see here, but the background is almost a sort of mossy green mottled effect, and of course the swirly bits are bright gold. I hope the color comes out a bit better. It's really not doing it justice. It's really quite vibrant. I don't think I can actually, you might be able to get a bit better sense of the color here. So it's looking rather washed out. I'm hoping I can fix that in final production. Anyway, so that's that. I like the backs much better on the new version. Right, and then again, it comes with a little doobly-doo, which again is the same on both sides about other decks. Right, where have you gone? Here we go. Leaflet. That's what you got with the first one. It's all in English, and it's literally just a little pull-out, and you can see I made a couple of corrections for it. In fact, in one section, they'd actually reprinted the text from an earlier card before adding the text for the card that they were intending to talk about. So I just lined that out. But you see, not a lot of it. Very, very short information for each of the cards. But importantly, a brief description of what you're actually looking at in the image. And sometimes, it's obvious, and it's obvious in relation to what you expect to see for the card. Sometimes it's a bit like, and this is supposed to be what? So, but here is the new book. It's a book. It's 128 pages long. Having said that, it is in 6 languages, but here's the interesting thing. I don't know if you can quite see it, but it's made up of like 8 little segments. You can just, no, you can't because I come crap at this. There you go. Come on. Right. 3 of those segments are English, And the remaining 5 segments are the other 5 languages, pretty much. And the reason for that, so the other languages are literally just the meanings of the cards, a little introductory blurb, a bit of a spread, and then that's just it. Literally just the card meanings. The English section has additional material provided by Barbara Moore. Yeah, I'll come back to that. Let's just get to the cards for now. So, as I said, I'm not gonna do the whole thing. I'll probably just sort of show you all of the trumps. Oh, here's a big thing. The cardstock is massively thicker. Massively thicker. I mean, look at that. It seems to be almost twice the thickness, and you can really feel it. Oh, and look. Oh God, this is so hard. There's so much to go into, and I don't want to chop and change. Let's stick to one thing at a time. What was I about to? Oh yes, I was about to do the usual flippy pushy. This is quite stiff, but not impossible. You could. I can't riffle shuffle, but anybody who could riffle shuffle could, I'm sure, could riffle that. Whereas this is much flimsier, thinner. God, I'm crap at this. There we go. There we go. So, but you get the idea. I mean, you only have to look at the thickness of the 2 decks side by side to know that there's a big difference there. It's lovely. They feel nice. They're both reasonably glossy. There you go. This one probably less glossy because it's been used, and I can't find the light. There you go. This has a bit more of a shine to it. I don't know if you quite make it out, but it's got slightly more of that sort of orange peely texture to the gloss. Now, is that the same? Yeah, that appears to be the same on all the cards, but it's not noticeable. You don't feel it. So there you go. Right. But here's the big difference. You haven't got a white border. You do have, it's weird. I can't really call this borderless because it does have a slight border. It's harder to see in the trumps. Let me see. There you go. Now you can see in that it does have a slight border that is the color associated with the card, but it's got no top bottom borders. And I mean, like, I never noticed, or I never even considered, there's a little moon. There's a little crescent moon at the top of this card, but you can't see it because it's cut off to make room for the header. But there it is. So, you know, there's a bit of information we didn't have before. You can see the colors are very similar. If anything, I think these are slightly more saturated, but not unpleasantly so. And sometimes you get things that are so saturated, and it's like, oh God, it just looks cheap and nasty. So there you go. That's a big change. But you do lose a little bit of the image on the sides. It's not so noticeable on this one, but there's another card where somebody's looking in profile. We'll probably come to it. In fact, let me just start flipping. And you lose the tip of his nose as a result of the border on the side here. But anyway, so the majors have black borders. I'm going to stick to using majors. I don't like saying majors. I like to say trumps, but it's an easier route just to go with majors because I can't seem to stick to it. Yeah, I mean, look, you see so much more of the man here. These are in order, and I'm not bothering to tell you what they are because I'm hoping... Oh, excuse me, there's someone at the door. Right, where was I? Yeah, I was saying I'm not actually naming the cards. You know, I trust, people have a pretty good idea of which card is which. Also, I mean, there are differences. This is the Great Mother, not the High Priestess, but I'm not doing a sort of taupey deck versus other tarot decks. I'm just doing a comparison of the two versions. So I'm sure somebody else will talk more about the differences in the decks. Anyway, but yes, yeah, much more of the little guy at the bottom there. Let me see if I can bring that in a bit. Right, so on and so forth. Oops, come back. Oh, here you go. Yes, here. You see how the tip of his nose is missing because of the black? Whereas he just bumps the edge of the frame on that one. But yeah, I can live with that. That's fine. Look at the pink in the background of this one. This is the shaman rather than the hierophant. See, I'm doing it anyway. Oops, on this one. There you go. Yeah, the colors just seem to pop more with the black borders. Here we go. Now here's an interesting thing. You actually lose a little bit on this one. But yeah, no great loss there. Yeah. Oh, and that is strength. So it's 8, 11, strength and justice in that order. Hermit. Oh, this is such a lovely deck. Here you go. Here's the Wheel of Fortune that the backs are based on. Oh, and in this case, it's called Time. The spear is a bit longer, so they've sort of extended it that way more. How's that for a death card? Yeah, ouch. It makes me wince every time I look at it. So lovely. There's the devil. Not particularly scary as devils go. Interesting. I like it. Love the colors. The menhir instead of instead of the tower. Excuse me. That's good. He doesn't have his head hitting the top anymore. That's better. And then the star from the box. As you can see, it's the other way around. In the box, everything's shooting up to the star, and here, everything is shooting down. Moon. Judgment is the prey. I'm doing it anyway, aren't I? Oh, well, never mind. Can't help it. So, yeah. That's interesting. I've just noticed the horizon line slopes more in this one. I quite like that. Gives it a bit more movement. And finally, the world for these ones. I hope the colors come out better than I'm looking at them on screen because they're really quite washed out. Right, so that is all of the majors gone through. Is that marks? Probably. Oh no, actually I see the same marks on these cards, so that's fine. It's not just me being grubby. So yeah, these are... now is probably actually the time to go back to the books a little bit, have a little talk about this. This is the soul suit. Blue is the soul suit. So you see up there it says Ace of the Soul. But it's marked in the new deck with the sort of prehistoric equivalent of a chalice, because there is a loose connection between cups and the soul cards, water cards. Right, I'm just going to slide through. Jewels are, unsurprisingly, pentacles or coins. And again, we still have the same coloration. You saw in the blue, the old ones, the blue just had a little bit of blue in there, and the card was essentially blue. Here, a little bit of yellow here, and now it's in the borders. And it has a presumably gold disc, or, you know, some precious metal disc to represent coins and earth. Either side. Nature. Nature is associated with wands, and so you get this sort of bone mallet effect going on in the corners there. Green. And finally, the suit of blood, which is swords and the red. Do you know, it's funny, but that ox whatever, jumps out so much more in this image than it ever did in that image. As soon as I turned that over, I was like, whoa, that's good. And it's represented by what appears to be spearheads. So that's it. But even the individual cards themselves don't bear a relationship to Rider-Waite tarot or that sort of thing. The different numbers, let's go with, where's the one I want to actually work with? There's one I have an issue with, or it points out my feelings best about the new book and the new text associated with the cards. So you have the Ace of the Soul. I'm just going to go through this one. Yep, so that makes sense. Ace. The next card, though, is, it doesn't actually say on these. Right. Oh, I'll just go straight to the little leaflet then. These are ages. This is the age of whatever suit you happen to be looking at. 3s are the mask of the suit. And let me see if I can find a good example of that. Yeah, here you have a character actually wearing an obvious mask. It's more obvious in some cards than others. 4 is Bones of the Soul. 5 is Stone of the Soul. 6 is Right of the Soul. We'll come back to that one. 7, probably actually want to see these as well, don't you? Okay, 7 is Era of the Soul, or Time of the Soul. Spirit of the Soul. Birth of the Soul. And then we get into what would normally be the court cards. This is, well, I suppose in the way they are. Child of the Soul. You have a child. Animal. No, 10s. I'm sorry. Jumped the gun there. 10s. Right. So what is 10? Environment of the Soul. I'm sorry. I completely missed that. Right. Child of the Soul. Animal of the Soul. Woman of the Soul. And Man of the Soul. Right. Now I've hidden those 6s. Let's go with this one because this is such a gorgeous image. Right. Here's the thing. I am so glad I got the original deck because I got the original little minimalist leaflet with it. And I'll just read you what it says about this particular card. This is Right of the Soul. And it says, the shaman symbolically dominates the moon in the immobility of time. And the only divinatory meaning given is the weight. Pretty basic. But the important thing is that the shaman dominates the moon, right? And it makes sense with the image. I don't know why I'm moving the image because I want you to see it. I'm going to go to the book now. The book that comes with the new deck. And faff about little bit. Okay, right. No, that's not it. See what I mean? Faff, faff, faff. There it is. Right of the Soul. Right. Are you sitting comfortably? Then we'll begin. The song of the full moon sings to the shaman. It awakens in him a wildness. He has no choice but to enter this time out of time, this space out of space. He dances and sings back to the moon, songs of love, songs of desire, songs of the soul full of joy and full of sorrow. The right power of the moon holds him captive, mesmerized. To most he appears mad, a lunatic of emotion, song, and dance. He is not crazy. He is held in the arms of magic, a willing partner, happy to be here now. What would be the point of trying to carry on with regular life? The moon is full, the stars beckoning, Best to indulge in the experience. Normal life can wait until the moment has passed. Oh boy. What? Really? Was that really necessary? And it doesn't relate to the card. It certainly doesn't relate to the initial intention of the card. And if you'd never seen the original booklet, okay, fair enough, that is how you would view this card. Even though if you look at it, I mean, look at the size of the shaman in relation to the moon, and he's above the moon. He is dominating the moon. He is dominating time. He is slowing things down. He is in control. The moon, in this instance, is not in control of him. But you wouldn't get that from this book. Oh no. And then the divinatory meaning. It does actually talk about time. And it says, honoring spiritual time, giving in to the call of the soul, doing things in their proper time. Yeah, I kind of get that in relation to the text here, but so much simpler to just say the weight. You know, make of it what you will in relation to the rest of the spread, to the question, what have you. And it just, all this excessive wordiness in tarot books, and it really gets my goat, as you can tell. Flashing my bias everywhere. So that's it. So, yeah. Take the new book interpretations with a pinch of salt. Have a look at the images. See what they actually say to you. And the interesting thing is, if I look at the Italian section or any of the other sections, I can see that the new meanings are repeated throughout the rest of the languages. None of them have the old meanings associated with them. It's all the newer meanings. So there you go. I've probably missed something vitally important. I suppose I ought to give them a shuffle for you now that I've at least done as much flipping through as I'm going to do. I haven't shuffled this deck at all, to be honest, because I wanted it in order to do this video, and I kind of wanted to get the video out of the way. But yeah, you know, that shuffles beautifully. I don't riffle shuffle. Oh, the tower. Of course you're going to fall out and cause disruption, right? There you go. So yeah, I won't bother shuffling the old one because, you know, unless you're a nut job and you want to spend, you know, more money than you really should on a deck of cards, you're not going to be getting that one. You're going to be getting this one. The old one shuffles fine. You know, it's your standard old school Lo Scarabeo cardstock. Yeah, absolutely nothing wrong with it. It certainly doesn't feel flimsy. It's quite solid. It's quite stiff, even though it is noticeably thinner than this cardstock. But no, I am absolutely delighted to have both of them. This one, because this visually represents my holy grail. This was the deck I saw and fell in love with and had to have. And I'm very glad to have the very simple descriptions and meanings that go with it. So that's a good thing. But I'm very, very happy to have this deck now because it's absolutely beautiful. It's the colors, the everything about it is just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. So I don't regret getting either of them. And there you go. I'm going to shut up. Rose Bae, I hope that does. If I missed anything, if I left out, you know, some burning question or something that you'd like to see, or if you'd like to see particular cards or anything like that, drop a note in the comments and I will do my best to accommodate you. And this has been going on for nearly half an hour. I'm going. Goodbye. Love you. See you around.